So today I'm going to show you guys how I turn these Blightkings into my new 40k Death Guard kill team.
First of blades for Shadow 2, Red Nurgle's gift.
A little backstory before we start. I used to play Warhammer when I was younger, but being a kid with no working income, I wasn't able to purchase all the fancy paints or really any models back then. So after a massive hiatus, I eventually returned to the hobby. Only now my problem was I didn't exactly know what to collect or what to play or even how to play anything. But after visiting the nearest gaming shop, I discovered Kill Team with my friend. Most people in the hobby sort of already know what Kill Team is, but for those that don't, Kill Team is basically a smaller scale version of Warhammer 40,000 battles, focusing solely on kill teams or squads. Some games are about taking objectives, whilst others are about assassinating enemy targets, or maybe just capturing an objective. Something like that. After playing for a while, I really got into the idea of making my own custom teams. So that's what this series is going to go, well, this series is going to be about. Making cool teams and maybe even trying them out against my friends. So without further ado, let's get started. The kill team list I will be making is... So your first question may be why Death Guard, or even what is the Death Guard? To really summarize it, the Death Guard basically, they were once a super soldier legion created by the Emperor of Mankind. These super soldiers are known as Space Marines. Anyways, a big war kicked off between these legions known as the Horus Heresy. The Death Guard during this war travelled through the warp in space, which is basically the Nether in Minecraft, but cranked up to 1 billion. As they travelled through the warp, they were tricked by one of the 4 Chaos Gods, specifically the Plague God Nurgle. Nurgle infected them all and offered to end their suffering if they pledged their souls to him, basically damning the whole legion. Now the Death Guard are zombified, pestilent super soldier space marines who all worship Grandfather Nurgle and spread their horrible diseases across the galaxy. Also, they like the number 7 a lot. Can't tell you why, they just do. So anyway, why did I choose Death Guard for the first team? I think they're cool. So cool, in fact, I almost actually chose them as my main army. Plus, after a lot of inspiration online, I think they are definitely one of the few factions that have the most kitbash potential and customizability. This is due to them having loads of mutations and demon gifts and all sorts that are bestowed upon them. So yeah, back to the video. My first kitbash here is my Plague Marine fighter armed with the Flail of Corruption. All followers of the Chaos Gods are fanatical to some degree, but my aim for this guy is to make him just a little bit more fanatical than the rest of the kill team. So the body I'm using is of one of the bog standard Blightkings from Age of Sigmar. This guy gives him that extra bit of chungus and bloatiness that the followers of Nurgle seem to have. For his weapon, I combined the bottom half of the Blightking weapon with the stick of spiked bells from the same Blightking's kit. I did this by cutting them apart with snippers and using some green stuff to fill the gaps to connect them. I usually like telling stories with my models, especially when models I put more effort into than others. Like Kill Team gives me that flexibility, I think, because when you're making an entire army, it's just a bit more difficult to focus on every individual model compared to a kill team where it's only 5 or 6 models usually. As my fighter, I feel like this guy likes to get up close and personal. So using more green stuff, I added more swords and extra skeletal arms for the Age of Sigmar from the Age of Sigmar Black Knights kit. In his left arm, I positioned it into a Shakespearean-esque pose, as if he's relishing his triumph and kill. And lastly, for now, I added a third-party Plague Legion bit from Spellcrow, which is a pretty cool website if you want little bits and bobs for converting. I still haven't decided quite yet what I want to do for his head, but I'll find a bit soon, I'm sure. Overall, I'm quite happy with him, and his name shall be Brax. So for my 2 Death Guard gunners, I again used one of the Blightking bodies for the basis of my model, and for the other a normal Death Guard body for some variation between them all. I wanted these guys to have big guns, something that I could imagine a Blight launcher to look like in size. Luckily, a few weeks before I started this project, my friend actually gave me his spare Death Guard. I was very thankful for it, but at the time I didn't actually know what I wanted to do with them because I knew I didn't want to have a Death Guard army at the time. One of these models in particular, though, is the Feotoid blood drone. The drone itself is a pretty cool model, but what I wanted from it specifically was its big ass guns on the front of it. I think these weapons will be the perfect size I'm looking for my Blight launchers. All I did then was cut off the backpacks of the default Death Guard models to add to the backs of these Death Guard gunners. This is because to me these backpacks look like they're fueling or powering these enormous Blight launchers. I armored them up a bit more also with more bits from the Feotoid blood drone, just sniffing parts off to add to it. All I did was, cut off bits with my clippers and craft knife and glue them to the model. I think they look good enough, and that's all I actually really care about, as long as it looks fine to me, and I'm fine with it. Yeah. Now, let's move on from the Death Guard models to some of the Poxwalkers. I don't want my Poxwalkers and my kill team to look boring or just like generic undead looking zombies. I wanted more from these guys, so I set out to try and make them look as odd as I could, but not as odd that it doesn't fit in with my kill team. So once I picked my Poxwalker, I chopped off his legs, but don't be fooled, he doesn't need them. I decided to use some green stuff to make him more like a sickly hybrid of a slug and a slime and an undead zombie. This may look weird, but once I paint this guy, I think he'll actually look pretty awesome. I'm quite satisfied with this one. This Poxwalker, I felt could have used a bit more fleshy tentacles too, so I decided to chop off some tendril growths from the other Poxwalkers and added them to this guy. As for weapons, I decided to use more of my Black Knight's skeleton arms. For this guy's name, I think I'm gonna call him Slimy Sam. And I'm afraid that's going to be it for this video. It would have been longer, but unfortunately I've had some technical problems with some of the footage, so I'll just give you guys a look at the rest of my sickly kill team that I've crafted here. For my first properly made kill team, and attempt at kitbashing as well, I can say I'm quite pleased with what I've made here. I think my top 3 models in this team are going to be the Plague Champion, this guy with the 4 legs here, and also this other guy with the enormous axe who I've named Chef. And finally this little Poxwalker here who I've named Ramus. I'll make another video following up to this one. It'll basically just be them on their bases. I'll make like custom bases for them, and I'll also paint them up to see what they look like once I put them on them. I hope you guys can look past the poor quality in this. This is my first video, to be honest. I don't do these normally. Sadly, I'm just working with what I've got. But I've enjoyed working on this project and hope to work on more in the future. So yeah. See ya.